Chapter 33. The Trial and Sentencing of Ishikawa Chayo. 21 years ago. The morning at the pawn shop began as it always did, with the bubbling of a kettle and the brewing of green tea. Beyond that, nothing was the same. A heaviness filled the room, making it difficult to breathe. "Say something," Chiyo said, her thin hands wringing her skirt over her lap. "Anything, please." Toshio looked up at her from across the table. "Nothing I can say will change the fate you have doomed all of us to live." "What I did," Chayo said, "I did for us." "You did it for yourself." "Perhaps." Chayo lowered her eyes. "And I would do it again." "But you cannot." "But you cannot!" Toshio slammed his fist on the table and stood up. "You cannot do it again. You will not be able to do anything ever again, because after today, you'll be dead." Chayo walked toward him. "I am still here now." Toshio took a step back, breathing hard. "Don't." Chayo circled her arms around him and pressed her cheek against his chest. "Tell her stories about me, so that she won't forget about her mother." "I will tell Hannah one story about you." Toshio pushed her away. "I will tell her about this day, so that she will know never to be as foolish as her mother." "Will you really let these be the last words we exchange, Toshio? You loved me once. Tears eroded the edges of Toshio's voice. "I still do." "But you wish that you did not." Toshio clenched his jaw. "I wish I could hate you for what you have done to us. It would be easier to forget you when you are gone. And I wish that I did not have this to steal that choice, but it was the only way." "There was another way," Toshio's voice broke. "You could have been content with what we had, with what you had. You could have just been happy. You were always enough for me." "Then have me now," Chayo said, "while we still have time." Toshio crushed her to him, claiming her lips. Chayo kissed him back, hard and long, not caring for air. The pawn shop, Toshio thought, had never been so silent. Not even the leaves of the tree in the courtyard seemed to make a sound. Or maybe all the screaming he had done inside his head since he had learned about Chiyo's crime had made him deaf. He watched the Shikuns slowly climb out from the pawn shop's pond, their masks stripped of emotion. Hannah slept in his arms the way only babies could, soundly and deeply, without the shadow of worry to follow them into their dreams. His daughter's life was going to change forever today, and she was not even going to remember a single second of the life she had before it, and perhaps this was for the better. It was easier to chew on misery if you did not know what happiness tasted like. Though the Shikun had come to punish Chiyo for her crime, it was Hannah who was going to be tainted by it. Losing a mother under the best of circumstances, when she was old and gray and longing for rest, cut to the heart. Losing a mother to the Shikun cut deeper. Two Shikun moved gracefully toward him, their arms folded across their chests, their talons hidden in the sleeves of their kimonos. The sight might have been beautiful if one did not know their real intent. They had discovered Chiyo's crime months ago, on the day they had come to collect the birds from the vault. They would have exiled her then, if not for her pregnancy. The child she carried was no different from any other child in their world. It belonged to them. Chiyo had robbed them once. The Shikun had no intention of allowing her to steal from them again. Her punishment, they decided, would be handed down once their property had been delivered. There was, after all, nowhere Chio could run. Today their wait was over. "Where is the criminal?" the Shikun asked in unison, their voices a choir of at least 100 or more. Hannah stirred into Toshio's arms. He rocked her gently, lulling her back to sleep. "My wife is waiting for you inside." The Shikun nodded and walked past him. Toshio followed them, his mind racing back to all the minuscule seconds that had led them to this day. Each point looked exactly like the rest, small and unnoticed, making it impossible to tell where he and Chio had veered horribly and irreversibly off course. Chio met the Shikun in the middle of the pawn shop with her shoulders drawn back and her spine pulled tight. Though she came up only to his ear in this moment, Toshio thought, Chio stood 100 feet tall. She looked directly into the Shikun's dark eyes as though it were she who was about to sentence them. "Ishikawa Chio," the pair of Shikun spoke. "You have been accused of the gravest of crimes. You took that which did not belong to you. A choice claimed by the Shikun on behalf of the dutiful citizens of this world. How do you plead?" "To dream. To dream." Chio lifted her chin. "To desire. To aspire for more than what is written on my skin is not a crime. To steal it is. Your solemn duty to collect these choices and keep them safe. By taking a choice as your own, you broke your husband's trust and the trust placed in you by our world. Do you deny this?" the Shikun said in unison. The rims of Chio's eyes quivered. "I do not." The Shikun turned to Toshio. "Is there anything you wish to say to your wife's... Is there anything you wish to say in your wife's defense?" "Yes, Hannah wriggled against Toshio's chest and began to cry. Toshio cradled her, feeling her grow heavy in his arms. He broke in a sweat, struggling to bear the weight of a life that was now fully dependent on him. He looked at Chio. She met his eyes, silently pleading with him to keep the promise she had forced him to make. She had begged him to remain silent for their daughter's sake, to not anger or defy the Shikun further. Hannah could not lose her father too. "Speak," the Shikun said. "I have nothing to say." Toshio lowered his eyes, trying to look at nothing beyond his daughter's face. Chio was lost to him in the instant she took the choice from the vault. Hannah was all that mattered now. "Ishikawa Chio," the two Shikuns said, "you have been found guilty in the eyes of the court. We sentence you to exile." "I accept my punishment." Chio bowed her head. "May I hold my daughter one last time?" The Shikun turned to each other, conferring without saying a word. "No, you may not." "I beg you." Chio dropped to her knees. "I just want to say goodbye." "No!" "Please. Hannah will not have a mother to hold her after today. Kill me for my crime, but do not punish my daughter. She is innocent. The Shikun tilted their heads as though considering her words. Very well. You may say goodbye. Toshio laid Hana in Chio's arms. Chio nuzzled her cheek and Toshio laid Hana in Chio's arms. Chio nuzzled her cheek and hair. She kissed Hana's forehead and handed her back to Toshio. She caressed Toshio's cheek. Take care of each other. Toshio kissed her through his tears. I love you. I love you too. Chio walked back to the Shikun. I am ready. The two Shikun took their places on either side of Chio and gripped her arms. They looked at Toshio. Leave us. No, I want to be here, Toshio said, holding Hana tightly. What you want is of no importance, the Shikun said, digging their talons deeper into Chio's wrist. Leave. Do as I say, Toshio, Chio said. You do not need to see this. I do not want you or Hana to be here. This is not a memory that I wish either of you to keep. This is not a memory that I wish either of you to keep. The two Shikun led Chio to the pawnshop's door, gripping her arm tight. Chio wondered if fading away was going to be quick or painful. She didn't imagine that it could hurt more than letting her daughter go. The Shikun on her right closed its talons around the doorknob and pulled the door open. Then it stopped suddenly and pushed the door shut. Both Shikun closed their eyes and bowed their heads, tilting them slightly, as though trying to listen to something faint or far away. It will be done, they said, responding to someone Chio couldn't see or hear. They lifted their heads and looked at Chio. What's going on? Chio said. We have changed our mind. What? Chio gasped. We have decided that you require a punishment more fitting of your crime. The two Shikun angled their heads, allowing shadows to morph their unmoving plaster lips into a sneer. Death is more than you deserve.